Mystery of the missing plane. Turn to another expert. Kyle Bailey here is an aviation analyst and a pilot himself. What's your thinking on where we are now?
I pretty much am leaning towards a mechanical issue or possibly an electrical issue. With those lithium batteries on board the aircraft. A little bit of a concern, I think.
Okay. If there is some sort of catastrophic event, and that would qualify as such a thing,
sure.
Why would the jet make this what appears to be pre-programmed jaunt into an area which it didn't belong for 7 or 8 hours?
Well, there's a little bit of a question about whether it was pre-programmed or not, but I think immediately the pilots want to make a 180 or a left turn to get back to just land the airplane at the nearest possible airport. They might have pre-programmed actually the closest airport into their system, and then the plane might have just kept on going.
So it's possible that the system which controls the navigation of the jet would have malfunctioned in a way that would have just sent it going until it ran out of fuel?
Not necessarily. The pilots would have put, for example, the nearest airport in there, and then say something, it was a fire that was smoldering or burning, and then the pilots became incapacitated. The airplane basically would just keep on going on a straight line or to the waypoint that it was programmed to.
So maybe once it hit the last waypoint to which it was programmed, it would just keep flying in that direction, and that would land it in the middle of nowhere?
Exactly, until it ran out of fuel.
Can you think of any other reason why they wouldn't have sent out some sort of mayday or something? I've had a hard time with that.
Unless it was such a catastrophic event, or they were just so preoccupied, or they were blinded with smoke in the cockpit. That's the only thing I could think of. I mean, there should have been a distress call of some sort. I'm actually a little bit surprised that a lot of the ELTs in the plane that go off upon impact, some of them are saltwater activated, so I'm a little bit concerned why there was no ELT signal to the satellites when the plane crashed in the salty ocean water.
The items which he's mentioning include one that would be activated on a hard impact.
That's correct.
And another type that would be activated when water or salt water hit it.
Exactly, in the life rafts in the back of the airplane.
Another that would send indications that there was some sort of cataclysmic event, a fire or something that happened on board. Before systems failed, there would normally be a smoke or increased temperature indicator which was sent, and none of that happened.
Yeah, we'll see on the flight data recorders, but there also is a chance when they get those recorders, if this was an act of piracy of some sort, there might not be data on those recorders if they in fact pulled a couple circuit breakers.
Well, there's only a half hour of voice recorder under the best of circumstances for reasons that we'll get into on another day, but there's only a half hour.
There should be 2 hours on this airplane.
That doesn't help us much.
It's a 2-hour loop, yeah, but still, we're talking 4 or 5 hours.
Before we go, both jet engines, except by some extraordinary happenstance, would not run out of fuel at the same time. Let's say the left engine runs out of fuel and the right engine keeps going. It doesn't continue to fly straight. I mean, all that we've learned in class at school tells us that would create this sort of thing.
Well, the autopilot would try to keep it straight until the forces became so extreme where the autopilot would give up and then kick out. So that could have been the case.
So it's possible that this plane might have corkscrewed or spiraled and smashed into the ocean surface, and that would have caused an enormous breakup that could have disintegrated much of this jet.
That is true. The only little bit of positive news here, I mean, as far as it running out of fuel, unlike TWA 800, which just exploded, with the lack of fuel on the airplane, there probably wouldn't have been a humongous fireball upon impact. So hopefully we'll get a lot of evidence and good information from that.
We know that didn't happen because it flew to the range of its fuel capacity.
Exactly.
All right. Kyle Bailey. Man, there's a lot to learn yet, isn't there?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you see